Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more exciting session in the series AWS Bootcamp. In this session, we will look into how to migrate or copy data from EC2 Instance to AWS S3. To do that, we have to do first of all, we have to create a EC2 instance, and then we have to install AWS CLI, create a IAM role, and then configure AWS CLI on the EC2 instance, and then copy the data from EC2 to S3. These are the different steps that are involved in copying the data from EC2 instance or on premises Ubuntu server or Unix server. The process would remain the same. Let us go ahead and perform this activity of copying the data from EC2 instance to AWS S3, or the process would remain the same for any on-premises servers as well. All right. Let me switch to my AWS account. This is my AWS account. First of all, we need to create one EC2 instance. So I'll go to EC2 instance. You see there is instance here. Click on the instance. So even before that, first of all, let us create an IAM role. Okay. So you see there's an option called as IAM. IAM stands for Identity Access Management. To know more about IAM, I would request you guys to look into the chapter IAM, where we have in depth explained about IAM users, groups, how to create policies, roles. All right. But here, let us go ahead and create one user very quickly and assign him a role. Let's say go to user, select option add user. I will give this user a name as copy, and I'm going to give him programmatic access and password to access the console. I'll say auto custom password, or you can say auto generated password. Let's say custom password and give my password. All right, I don't want to reset. Next, permissions. Okay, in the permissions, I'm going to give this I'm going to attach permissions from the directly attach a permission. I'm not going to add him any group. As of now, I'm going to give administrator access, a review, create this user. Okay. Now the user is created. This is how you create a user. Let's say go to roles. We can also create roles. I'll show you two. There are two ways how we can integrate or give permissions for EC2 to put the data on S3. One is the users. Second one, let's go to role. Select option create role. Okay, AWS service. I want EC2. Next, I'm going to give full access here as well. Ideally, you need to give access which service that you want to. Let's say this EC2 instance should have full access to S3. Then go to S3, select S3, enter. You will see all the permissions that are there for S3. But as of now, I will give an admin access for this role. What is a role? I request you guys to look into the IAM chapter. I'm giving administrator access. Next, role name, copy to, that is the role name that I'm going to give, and I'm creating a role. Okay, so I have created a role. I also have created one CLI user. Let me go here. Now go to EC2, Let me go ahead and create an EC2 instance. Let's go to EC2 instance. Okay, I'm going to choose the region as, let's say, US West 2 and select instance. I would say launch instance. I'll name the instance name as copy. I'm choosing the Ubuntu as the operating system, and I need to create a key pair. I'll name the key pair as copy1. It should be a ppk file. Create key pair, and I will leave all other options as default and launch an instance. Okay, I would request you guys to look into the chapter EC2 instance to understand all these options in detail. The instance is launching. See, there's a public IP address. We will use this public IP address to launch. Before that, if you guys remember, we have created one IAM role, right? Let me assign that IAM role to this instance so that this instance will get a administrator access to access any other service. Okay. Let the instance create. The instance is created here. Now, if you go into this option actions, there is security. In the security, there's an option called as modify IAM role for this. Select this option and choose an IAM role. The IAM role that I have created is called as copy to. Select that and update IAM role. So now this EC2 instance will get permissions to access S3. All right. Now let us go ahead and log into this particular instance. Copy the IP address. Go to PuTTY. The default username for Ubuntu is Ubuntu. At the IP address, go to SSH, authentication, browse, copy one is the PPK that I have given for this, open. Alright, now I am in the Ubuntu server that I have created. Now first thing, I want to update all the packages. Sudo apt update. Okay, I have updated all the packages. Now I want to install AWS CLI on this server. For that, let's go here. You can just type in Google install AWS CLI. Okay, there's an official AWS page that would open, and you would see whether it is for Linux, Mac OS, or Windows. Select option Linux. Okay, copy this and then go here. Before that, let us install a zip in this. Sudo apt install zip package. Yes, because we have to unzip the software, so we need a zip package. So I have installed it, and then paste all the commands that you have copied from the website. Enter. See, now you're able to install AWS CLI. Now let's say run AWS hyphen version. You're able to see that AWS CLI is there in this. Now let us say AWS S3 LS. See, we are able to access this now. Okay, directly we got access. Why we got access? Because we have created an IAM profile for this EC2 instance, right? And we have given admin role so that this particular EC2 instance can communicate with the AWS. Okay. Now let's say AWS, I want to create a bucket. AWS S3 MB S3, I want to create the bucket name as level up copy data. Okay, this is the bucket name I'm giving and enter. Okay, MB stands for make bucket. So it is saying that the bucket has been successfully created. Now let us see on our console whether that bucket has been created or not. Let's go to S3. The bucket name that I have given is a level up copy data. Now if you see, there's a bucket that is created which is level up copy data. Okay. Now let me go ahead on the file on the server. Let me create one file. I'll create a directory, make directory copy. The name of the directory is copy. Okay. I'll go to the directory, cd copy, and in that, let me create a file. VM file to copy dot, let's say py, enter, insert, say print. Okay, I'm just typing some random stuff on the file and then enter. Now the file is stored. It is there in this region. Now I want to copy this file from here to AWS. Okay, let me do that. Okay, now let us see some of the commands that will help us. Now let's say AWS CLI commands. You see, for describing instances on all AWS help, if to see all the commands on AWS help, AWS S3 LS, if you give the bucket name, it will show only that particular bucket. You see here, if I want to, okay, we'll also see that how to copy the data from one bucket to another bucket. Okay. Now you see, this is the command AWS S3 sync my local folder and AWS folder. Okay. If I give this, all the files from my local system, it will copy to AWS. Let me copy this. So now you see the syntax is AWS S3 sync and the path of the local server and the path of the S3 and then enter. Now you see the file is copied there. Now in this path, let me put one more file. Let me go to here ls. Okay. I'll say vim file 2.py, enter, I print success. All right, let me run the command again. AWS S3 sync slash home slash Ubuntu slash copy. Uh, Previously, I have given the one file name, but we need to give the folder. So all the files in the folders would be copied to AWS S3. Now enter. Now you see it is saying that file is uploaded. Okay. Now we can also see here AWS S3 LS and the S3 bucket name S3 level up copy data is the bucket name. Now once you enter, so I've given the syntax wrong, this AWS. Now if you see, there are two files in this bucket. Now let me see that here. Let's go here. This is the bucket. Now let me refresh, and you see you can able to see this two files. So now if you schedule a con job, like for every 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever desired interval, so whatever files that comes into this particular folder will automatically come to AWS S3 bucket once you create that con job. All right, guys. Uh, and I told you there is another way, right? If you're using IAM profile, this is the way. But if you don't have an IAM profile, you want to log in with the credentials. How can you log in? So you can go ahead and select this option AWS configure. So it will ask you for access key, secret key, and then a region. If you give this also, you will be able to uh, communicate with AWS S3 from this particular EC2 instance. All right, guys. I request you guys to see the document and perform this exercise hands-on. So you'll be comfortable to copy the data from any of the servers to AWS S3. Thank you very much. You guys have a good time.